Good afternoon, everyone. Today's topic is appendix. Myself, I am Dr. R. M. Narendra Prasad of Department of General Surgery from SLIMS. Surgical anatomy of appendix. It is located at the terminal end of the cecum, where three tinea join about 2 cm below the ileocecal orifice, usually around 5 to 10 cm in size, but can be variable. Size of its lumen is that of a size of a matchstick. Diameter of appendix is 3 to 8 millimeter in size. Diameter of its lumen is 1 to 3 millimeter. That is the size of the matchstick. Mesoappendix is the extension of the mesentery and contains appendicular artery, a branch of ileocholic artery. Often an accessory artery of appendix is present, which is called as the artery of Sheshachalam. Thrombosis of these vessels leads to gangrenous appendicitis. On-table demonstration of this is the on-table demonstration of mesoappendix with its appendicular artery. Note this is the appendix and mesoappendix. This is the mesoappendix with the cecum and then ileum, and this is the white color layer is called the tinea. The most common sites of appendix are retrocecal, which is the most commonest, which consists of about 75% of the appendix, and next common is pelvic, which is 21%, pre-ileal, that is anterior, which is rare and 1%, posterior, which is rarest and is the splenic site and is a very rarest type of appendix. The site where appendix can be placed. Paracecal, subcecal accounts for 2%, and subhepatic. These are the sites of appendix in which we can locate it. And the most common, as we have seen above, is listed here. And the retrocecal is behind the cecum, pre-ileal, posterior, pelvic, subcecal, paracecal, and subhepatic is seen in some cases. These are the types where duplication of appendix can occur. And other points to be remembered about appendix is often it may be in subserosal plane, leading to difficult dissection during appendicectomy. In situs inversus, appendix is on the left side. Mucosa of appendix is lined by columnar cells with crypts. Submucosa contains numerous lymphatic aggregations, that is follicles. Hence, it is called as abdominal tonsil. Appendix is called as abdominal tonsil. Opening of the appendix into the cecum is always guarded by a valve called valve of Gerlach. And let us see about acute appendicitis. Acute appendicitis, it is the most commonest case which we encounter in surgery department, even in OP basis. It is most common in young males. It is common in white races. Fiber-rich diet prevents appendicitis. Less fiber diet increases the chance of appendicitis. It is common in May and August, months of May and August. This is due to the seasonal variation. Hence, it is called as epidemic appendicitis. Viral infection may cause mucosal edema and inflammation, which later gets infected by bacteria, causing appendicitis. Family history may be relevant in 30% of appendicitis children with appendicitis occurring in the first degree relatives. That is first degree relatives, those who are having the family history of appendix may have a familial history of appendicitis. Obstruction of the lumen of appendix causing obstructive appendicitis. Blockage occurs due to the following features, which is fecolids, most commonest cause for blockage and causing appendicitis, and stricture. Sometimes foreign body may also cause appendicitis. Roundworm and threadworm, which are more common in our Indian nation. Adhesions and kinking can result in carcinoma cecum near the base. Even in ileocecal Crohn's disease, it can be seen. Distal colonic obstruction. Abuse of purgatives. Fecolith is the most commonest cause, as we have seen already. The most commonest organisms causing appendicitis are listed below. In that, E. coli accounts for about 85% of appendicitis patients. Enterococci about 30%. Streptococci, anaerobic streptococci, Clostridium welchii, bacteroides or other species causing appendicitis. Pseudoappendicitis, the term called pseudoappendicitis is prevalent, which is called as appendicitis due to acute ileitis following Yersinia infection. It is often due to Crohn's disease. Pathogenesis, acute inflammation of the mucous membrane with the secondary infection without obstruction causes acute non-obstructive appendicitis. It may lead into resolution, fibrosis, recurrent appendicitis, or eventual obstructive appendicitis. And the continuation of pathogenesis is the luminal obstruction by fecolith, which may cause lymphoid hyperplasia, pinworm obstruction, as we have seen above, and other worms, foreign bodies, carcinoma, or Crohn's disease may cause luminal obstruction, which creates mucus and inflammatory fluid collection inside the lumen. As the mucus and inflammatory fluid gets collected inside the lumen, the intranumeral pressure inside the appendix gets increased, which leads to the blockage of lymphatic and venous drainage. This obstruction to the lymphatic and venous drainage results in increased edema of mucosa and wall of appendix, causing mucosal ulceration and ischemia, which leads to bacterial translocation into the appendix, causing bacterial spread through the submucosa and muscularis propria, causing acute obstructive appendicitis. Sometimes thrombosis of appendicular artery may also happen, which may lead to ischemia, which leads to ischemic necrosis of full thickness of the wall of the appendix, causing gangrene of the appendix. If perforation occurs at the tip or at the base of the appendix, it leads to peritonitis due to the ooze of inflammatory exudates from the appendix into the peritoneal cavity. After perforation, localization of greater omentum and dilated ileum occurs, with suppuration and pus formation inside, forming appendicular abscess. In severe acute appendicitis, localization can occur by omentum and dilated ileum without pus inside, forming appendicular mass. Hence, omentum is called as the policeman of abdomen. Acute appendicitis with blockage at the opening of the lumen causes inflammation, which rarely subsides, and mucus collects inside the lumen of the appendix, resulting in the enlargement, causing mucosal of the appendix. Mucosal of the appendix is a precancerous condition and may cause adenocarcinoma. Hence, mucosal of the appendix has to be most commonly, it's not the most common case, it's a most dangerous condition. And types of appendicitis: acute non-obstructive appendicitis called as catarrhal appendicitis, mucosal appendicitis, whereas the inflammation of mucous membrane occurs with redness, edema, and hemorrhages. Acute obstructive appendicitis: here pus collects in the blocked lumen of the appendix, which is blackish, gangrenous, edematous, and rapidly progressing, leading to the perforation either at the tip or at the base of the appendix. This leads to peritonitis, formation of appendicular abscess or pelvic abscess. That's about the acute obstructive appendicitis. And coming on to the next case is recurrent appendicitis, repeated attacks of non-obstructive appendicitis. This may lead to fibrosis and formation of adhesions. And subacute appendicitis, mostly we encounter cases like subacute appendicitis in our OP basis, where it's not a severe form of appendicitis. It does not look like a clinical picture in acute appendicitis, but it's a milder form of acute appendicitis. Stump appendicitis. The stump appendicitis is nothing but retained long stump of appendix after commonly attempted laparoscopic appendicectomy. And clinical features. And coming on to clinical features of acute appendicitis, most commonly acute appendicitis does not occur in children less than 2 years of age, common in children of other ages and other age groups. Pain. It is the earliest symptom of acute appendicitis. Visceral pain starts first around the umbilicus due to the distension of the appendix. Later, after few hours, due to the somatic pain occurs in the right iliac fossa due to the irritation of parietal peritoneum due to inflamed appendix. Hence, the pain shifts from umbilicus to the right iliac fossa. Pain eventually becomes severe and diffuse, which signifies spread of infection of the general peritoneal cavity. First symptom is pain, and second symptom is vomiting due to reflex pylorospasm. And coming on to the Murphy's triad, Murphy's triad is nothing but the severity of symptoms in which in the nature which it occurs. First, the pain occurs, and next comes the vomiting, and next comes the increase in the temperature of the increase in the body temperature. Constipation is the usual feature, but diarrhea can occur if appendix is in post-ileal or pelvic positions. Other symptoms like fever, tachycardia, fetor oris, or other features. Urinary frequency in inflamed appendix. If in some cases of inflamed appendix, if it comes in contact with the bladder, it can cause bladder irritation. And tenderness and rebound tenderness at McBurney's point in right iliac fossa are typical. This is called Blumberg's sign. And Rovsing sign is nothing but on pressing the left iliac fossa, pain occurs in the right iliac fossa. This is due to the shift of bowel loops from left side to right side, which irritates the parietal peritoneum. And hyperextension in case of retrocecal appendix This is called as Cope-Soyers test. Hyperextension or internal rotation in case of pelvic appendix. Hyperextension in retrocecal appendix and internal rotation in pelvic appendix at the right hip causes pain in the right iliac fossa due to the irritation of psoas muscle and obturator internus muscle respectively. Baldwin sign is positive in case of retrocecal appendix. It's nothing but ask the patient to lift leg when he is on the supine position on the bed with knee extended. The patient complains of pain while pressing over the flanks of his abdomen, and perrectal examination shows tenderness in right side of the rectum. Hyperesthesia in Sharon's triangle. Sharon's triangle is this is the Sharon's triangle, which extends from umbilicus to pubic symphysis, which is the line that connecting umbilicus, pubic symphysis, and anterior superior iliac spine. It is an area of hyperesthesia, which means that the area of increased pain sensation in acute appendicitis, which extends from anterior superior iliac spine to pubic symphysis to umbilicus. Hyperesthesia in Sharon's triangle. This is the triangle formed by anterior superior iliac spine, umbilicus, and pubic symphysis. And coming on to the McBurney's point, McBurney's point is nothing but it is the junction of lateral 1/3 and medial 2/3 of the spino-umbilical line. McBurney's or gridiron incisions or MacArthur's incision is perpendicular to the line at this point. This is the subumbilical line. This is the McBurney's point. This is the anterior superior iliac spine. This is the umbilicus. The 1/3 and 2/3 of this point is the McBurney's point. And McBurney's incision is made perpendicular to this McBurney's point. And this is the Sharon's triangle. This is the area of hyperesthesia as explained previously. And coming on to the differential diagnosis of appendicitis. These are the differential diagnosis of acute appendicitis. Perforated peptic ulcer, ruptured or twisted ovarian cyst, acute cholecystitis, right ureteric colic, enterocolitis, right acute pyelonephritis, mesenteric lymphadenitis, lobar pneumonia, Crohn's disease, acute pancreatitis, Meckel's diverticulitis, acute crisis of porphyria, salpingitis, diabetic abdomen, ectopic gestation sometimes may be ruptured, and typhlitis. When you are suspecting a reproductive age woman with right iliac fossa pain, do UPT test to rule out ectopic gestation. Differential diagnosis in children. These are the differential diagnoses in children, which is nothing but Meckel's diverticulitis, acute colitis, acute iliac lymphadenitis, intussusception, roundworm colic, or lobar pneumonia. Differential diagnosis in females. Ruptured ectopic gestation, mitral smear, rupture of ovarian follicle during mid-menstruational period, ovarian cyst torsion, salpingo-oophoritis. And differential diagnosis in elderly shows acute diverticulitis, carcinoma cecum. It is the most in elderly male with severe anemia and with weight loss. First thing and pain in right iliac fossa. First thing of carcinoma cecum, and then come to other diagnosis. Hence the differential diagnosis in elderly with RIF pain is acute diverticulitis, carcinoma cecum, mesenteric ischemia, intestinal obstruction, aortic aneurysm leak, or Crohn's disease. Sequel of acute appendicitis. First, resorption occurs, then relapse and recurrent episodes of acute appendicitis occurs. Appendicular mass can happen. Appendicular abscess, as discussed above, can happen. Perforation has got 20% of mortality. Peritonitis, septicemia are the causes of follows perforation, and then portal pyoemia. Intestinal obstruction due to obstructive ileus, inflammatory aggression, formation of band between appendix and omentum, or between appendix and small bowel. Investigations. Usually, appendicitis is a clinical diagnosis with some laboratory investigation, but most commonly appendicitis is a clinical diagnosis. The investigations are total leukocyte count, which is increased. Ultrasound is done to rule out other conditions like ureteric stone, pancreatitis, ovarian cyst, ectopic pregnancy, and also to confirm appendicular mass, whether the appendix is confined, appendix alone inflamed, or appendix is there is abscess formation or mass formation in the appendix. And also to know the size of the lumen of appendix. Laparoscopy is the most useful method and it is the most popular method nowadays. Sonographic criteria for appendicitis, which has got 85% specificity, non-compressible appendix of size greater than 6 millimeter AP diameter, hyperechoic thickened appendix wall greater than 2 millimeter is the target sign. Other sonographic appearances are appendicolith, interruption of submucosal continuity, periappendicular fluid. Other investigations are contrast CT, which is very much useful when diagnosis is difficult, especially in old people, to rule out other conditions like carcinoma and dilated appendix, dilated lumen, thickened wall, non-filling of the lumen. By contrast are here, periappendicular fluid collection, presence of mass or abscess or associated pathology like carcinoma can be identified in contrast CT. Contrast CT has got 95% sensitivity and 95% specificity with accuracy, with 95% accuracy. Dirty fat, which is thickened around the mesoappendix, appendicular phlegmon, appendicular fecolith, and thickened cecum funneling contrast into the orifice of the appendix, which can be seen as arrowhead sign in the CT. These are all the relevant features in CT scan. And other investigations like C-reactive protein can also be elevated, but it is not a specific test. It can be increased. MRI is very useful tool in pregnancy, as we are that is in young reproductive male. Don't straightly go for CCT. Just use MRI to prevent fetal stress or to prevent fetal and plain X-ray may show lumbar scoliosis towards right due to the pseudospasm, which is not uncommon, fecolith on the right side. And this is the radio opaque appendix in a plain X-ray. It could be calcified or have calcified content. See this radio opaque appendix in plain X-ray. And this is the ultrasound showing dilated non-compressible appendix in 2 different patients. Dilated appendix. And this is the scoring system used for this is the scoring system used in acute appendicitis case. This is called Alvarado scoring system. It has got scores of 10, which is M, migrating pain, which has got a score of 1, anorexia 1, nausea and vomiting 1, tenderness in right iliac fossa 2, rebound tenderness 1, elevated temperature 1, leukocytosis with count more than 10,000 2, shift to left with neutrophilia in peripheral smear 1, totally scores of 10, in which tenderness in right iliac fossa and leukocytosis count more than 10,000 has got 2 scores each. Scores less than 5 and appendix is not shear. Score between 5 to 6 compatible. Score between 6 to 9 probable. Score more than 10. Only if the score is more than 10, more than 9, it is confirmed appendix. These are the incision site for acute appendicitis: gridiron incision, lance incision, and right paramedian incision. Gridiron incision, it's made perpendicular to the McBurney's point, and lance incision is made horizontal to the McBurney's point. It's cosmetically more appealable, and right paramedian incision can also be done. And about treatment surgical procedure, gridiron incision. Incision is placed perpendicular to the right spino-umbilical line, that is perpendicular to the McBurney's point at the junction of lateral 1/3 and medial 2/3 of the spino-umbilical line. Gridiron incision is a frame of cross beams to support a ship during repairs. This incision was first described by MacArthur. Rutherford Morrison's muscle cutting incision. Muscles are cut upwards and laterally. And Lance crease incision centering at McBurney's point, cosmetically better, as discussed previously. Right lower paramedian incision or lower midline incision. It is done when in doubt or when there is diffuse peritonitis. And laparoscopic approach, which is now which is becoming more popular, and it is cosmetically more better, and the patient recovery time is become more faster. Powder wear approach by cutting muscle medially over the rectus. And operative procedure is Under general anesthesia, skin is incised. 2 layers of superficial fascia are cut. External oblique aponeurosis is opened in the line of incision. Internal oblique and transversus muscles are split in the line of the fibers. Peritoneum is opened in the line of incision. Cecum is identified by tracing the Taenia coli and ileocecal junction. Omentum, when adherent, is separated. All these adhesions from the omentum is separated from the appendix. Appendix is held with the Babcock's forceps. Mesoappendix with appendicular artery. First, identify the appendicular artery and ligate it with artery forceps, and then using a thread or a purse string suture is placed at the base of the appendix. Base of the appendix is crushed with artery forceps and transfixed with the vicryl. Appendix is cut distal to the suture ligature and removed. Stump is cleaned with antiseptics, usually betadine, and then purse string suture is tightened and burial of the stump is done. In difficult cases, retrograde appendicectomy can be done in presence of pus or burst appendix. The peritoneal cavity is drained. Post-operatively, IV fluids, antibiotic care are given to the patient. Once bowel sound are heard, oral diet is started. Thank you.